WTO is associated with long talks, various tariffs, customs quotas, imports and exports, as well as other terms which our consumers sometimes do not understand. The task of the WTO market is to break all the barriers between the buyers and the sellers, because we know everything about the prices. According to the World Health Organization, Japan, Australia, Switzerland, Singapore and Italy have been included in the top 10 countries with the highest life expectancy. The above-mentioned states have the best medical services in the world. It is worthy of note that sometimes visiting a doctor in these states can be absolutely free. People of Kazakhstan can also enjoy guaranteed volume of free medical consultations and treatment. Some patients are given free medicines. Others have to pay for their treatment. Probably being sick will become cheaper after Kazakhstan's accession to the WTO. Watch in the upcoming 10 minutes. How does the state reduce the medicine's supply chain? WTO market has found out why a drug of one manufacturer can cost twice as much as the similar one from another producer. And for what in actual fact do we pay drug producers? Kazakhstan satisfies 1/3 of its demand for medicines. The rest drugs are purchased in Russia, India, Germany, Belarus, Ukraine and China. Nonetheless, Kazakhstan continues to expand its pharmaceutical sector. In a 2-year period, the proportion of local drug manufacturers increased by almost 10%. The supply of medicines in Kazakhstan is formed in 2 ways, as a part of the guaranteed package of free medical care provided by the state and through pharmacy chains. Medicines from the first category in most cases are distributed among patients for free. According to the single distributor SK Pharmacy, currently the size of the Kazakhstan's pharmaceutical market exceeds 360 billion tenge. Of them, more than 160 billion are provided at the expense of the guaranteed package of free medical care. The work of the single market of medicines under the Eurasian Economic Union is another factor which influences the Kazakhstani pharmaceutical market. Before 2009, medicines were not subject to taxation, but after the accession to the customs union, the single taxation system was introduced. Taxes are imposed since 2014 and they are different for different groups of drugs. On the average, they make up from 3 to 10%. All that does not significantly affect prices. It is believed that the pharmaceutical union of the 5 states and their accession to the WTO will intensify the competitive environment on the market of Kazakhstan. Distributors will be forced to cut down their prices and there will be possibilities for increasing exports to EU member states. The basic rule is that the larger is the turnover and the output, the lower is the cost of medicines. More exports will ensure lower cost of drugs produced in Kazakhstan. Nowadays, the country already delivers various medical products to Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan and Mongolia. Products manufactured in Kazakhstan have undergone significant changes. 10 to 15 years ago, the pharmaceutical industry was represented by several small companies. They produced infusions, syrups, herbal teas and other substances which did not contain organic molecules. Any medicine sold in pharmacies of Kazakhstan is registered and certified. All the drugs can be conventionally divided into 2 groups: original medicines and generic or analogs. They are 30% cheaper and are registered in a shorter period of time. Many generic medicines are effective. However, some of their producers are not faithful, which poses the problem of effectiveness and safety. It is not recommended to save money on health. Medicines produced by high-tech facilities cannot be cheap. Kazakhstan purchases original drugs mainly in Europe. This year, the world is looking forward to the appearance of 7 revolutionary medicines, which are believed to become so-called blockbuster drugs in the nearest future, with annual sales more than $1 billion. Most of them will be used in the treatment of liver diseases and AIDS. 2015 was a record-breaking in number of new blockbuster drugs which came to the market. Before launching the production of drugs, companies spend a huge amount of money on their development and clinical studies. The number of newly invented molecules in the world each year does not exceed 15. Therefore, there are only few of new drugs. How drug prices are formed? We shall know it from the following story. Almost all the medicines in the world are produced from materials of Chinese or Indian origin. The cost of active substances are low and may reach as little as 10% of the total price of a medicine. Up to 40% of the price of original branded drugs consists of research and clinical trials. Developing a new medical product costs on the average from $800 million to $1.5 billion. Because of that, original branded medicines are always more expensive than their analogues. Another 20% is advertising and manufacturer markups. The patent for original medicines is valid during 20 years. Upon its expiry, the market is filled by generic or similar drugs produced by other companies. The new producers do not spend money on medical trials and therefore their cost is 30 to 40% lower. It should be also noted that original manufacturers will have to cut down their prices. Now let's find out how to avoid buying a counterfeit. For this purpose, we shall carry out an experiment. To distinguish a counterfeit medication is quite difficult, and this is the responsibility of accredited laboratories. However, we can suspect that a medicine was falsified. For that, we should come to a pharmacy and scrutinize a package. Special attention should be paid to the shelf life, letterhead on the package, and tablet blister packs. The package should be neat and inscriptions should be clear. A water-soluble tablet can be checked at home. If the instruction for use does not contain the information that medicines are fat or acid soluble, a tablet should be placed into a glass of room temperature water. It should dissolve within the period of time indicated in the instruction. If it does not happen, it means that the medicine contains chalk. It is not harmful, but at the same time not good for health. The global pharmaceutical market is constantly growing. There are several reasons for that. Firstly, the world's population is becoming older and lives longer due to the increasing availability of medicines. Secondly, more and more diseases are caused by the environmental deterioration. Thirdly, living standards in China, India, CIS and Western Europe countries are improving. It means that the local population buys more expensive medicines. The experts forecast that by 2019 the global pharmaceutical market size will reach $1,300 billion. Even now, the turnover of medicines throughout the world exceeds $1 trillion. The profit is shared by the major market players. From the 50 world's largest pharmaceutical companies, which account for 80% of the market, 20 companies are located in the territory of the US, 18 in the territory of Europe, 11 in Japan and 1 in Israel. Most of all medicines are bought in the US. Over the last 5 years, it is followed by China, which has forced Japan to the 3rd position. The 10 top consumers are the EU countries, Canada and the developing market of Brazil. However, big pharma companies are becoming more and more interested in the developing and even newly appearing markets, such as Indonesia, Iran, Nigeria and Bangladesh. An interesting fact is that in the US, in the 1920s, ketchup was sold in pharmacies. It was considered as a medicine against alopecia and food eczema. Lycopene contained in tomatoes is really good for health, and its content in ketchup is even higher than in fresh tomatoes. However, nowadays the same lycopene is available in pharmacies in the form of tablets. Ketchup can be purchased only in shops. Moreover, nowadays, nobody in their right mind will treat alopecia with ketchup. I wish you economic and quality purchases.